low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't.
What is going on, fam? How you guys doing tonight? It has been a long day for me. You can see I still got a dress shirt on. I actually had a funeral to go to today for my uncle, so it's been quite a long day, but I'm here. We're ready to give you guys some news, talk some crypto, do some TA, because this is going to be your home of some of that, most important market news and the TA that's really going to set you up for tomorrow. That's the idea of the show here. And, we're going to be doing this every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my man, FD White. How you doing, man?
Good, man. First and foremost, man, thank you for showing up, man, on a day like today. I know the community appreciates you, but I appreciate you, man, and my condolences to you and the family, man. So thank you for showing up on a day like today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a struggle too. My external display went poo poo on me as well, so everything is kind of working against me right now. But we're trying to make it happen. Got to resize all my screen. So sorry, you guys, that we had a little bit of delay. You're not going to see me in the chat tonight because I don't have the ability without having another display here to keep it going. So we're gonna be rolling through this, man, and we're gonna be doing it live in color. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, how's everything going for you, man? Any trades? You listened to Trump and Elon talk yesterday. That was a mess in itself. So
Yeah.
I was trying to listen, but then they were having this big delay, and then it did come on, and then there's people over, so it was really hard for me.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear like kind of your take on what went down.
You know what? It was a big delay, but when they finally start talking, it really just sounded like two guys just kicking it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like super political banter back and forth. It was like just two guys, talking about the economy, talking about what they see going forward. And I enjoyed it, man. So I think going forward, I don't know what the poly market is looking like, but maybe that may give him another little boost up. I don't know how much I agree or how much I not agree, but trust these markets. Anything could be manipulated, but it was pretty good, man. It was something different from Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. I did, read up on it a little bit. I obviously wasn't able to watch all of it or even listen to all of it, but they said it was like two guys just kind of like you said, just kind of
Yeah.
chatting it out a little bit. And they said Elon did a really good job of kind of staying unbiased in his approach to the
Mhm.
conversation, and even called him out a couple times, is what I was reading.
Mhm.
Which, that's I expect nothing less from Elon.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's two powerhouses really come together on X, and the amount of viewers was just unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
you don't get numbers like that for the debates.
Yeah, it was the most all time on X, man, the most stream space of all time. So it was a lot. It was like 1.4 concurrent listeners at one point, I think. So it was definitely a lot. So shout out to them for putting it together. And he even invited Kamala Harris to come on. So we'll see if that
I saw that. I saw that.
we'll see if that flourishes or see what that if that
Yeah.
happens. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Right on, right on. So let's get into our first bit of news today. And this is just really talking about Kamala Harris and that she is actually about to announce her economic policy, and that's coming in the mid-August speech. So be ready for that. I know a lot of us are going to be really, really, tuning in and watching very closely because we have not gotten anything in terms of her policy towards crypto. And we've talked about it before, is that she's been very quiet when it comes to crypto. She really hasn't talked a lot about it. So it's very it's going to be a big deal for us to hear where she stands. And I mean, that's kind of what we're waiting for, to be honest. So have you read anything or heard anything on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in terms of her policy, or you got any feelings on that?
So I mean, the I don't see me looking back from a critical thinking point of view. I'm gonna sit back. I'm not gonna be one of the people who takes either side. I'm gonna sit back and critically look at this whole situation. the past 3 years, the current administration has been against crypto. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, what is going to change? Like, what is going to change these next 4 years? With the same, basically the same powers that be will be in charge, so to say. What is going to change that they're going to become more crypto friendly and more open to crypto and crypto policy? So I haven't heard anything specifically that but I'm still using my critical thinking brain. I'm trying to really gauge how what's going to change or how they're going to change their stance going forward. But we'll just have to see. We'll sit back and see. Like I always say, these politicians say anything and everything to get votes, and then when they're in, then we just have to see what they really do. But I don't see a huge change from the current administration stance on crypto. But who knows? We'll have to see.
Right on, right on. Cool, man. So next up here, let me go ahead and pull it up. I think you guys have probably heard about it, but it is Marathon Digital is actually talking about raising $250 million for Bitcoin, right? So they're one of the biggest miners as it is, right? But they're also looking to increase their holdings of Bitcoin, which is really really interesting that they were trying to raise another $250 million. You know, I mean, that's interesting. Like, I guess like they're trying what? Let me see. I'm gonna read more about it because I saw that it stood out to me, and I was like, let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. And so it's a $250 million private offering of convertible senior notes. All right. So looking at that, and they're trying to raise that through a private offering and do in 2031. So basically, it's trying to double down on the Bitcoin holding strategy, which to me was like interesting. I was like, I didn't really think of a mining company or Marathon Digital trying to increase its holdings that way, right? I mean, because
Right.
they're mainly known
They're
for
mining it.
mining.
Right.
So it just, I don't know, it popped up to me and I was like, that'd be interesting, something to talk about here. I mean, what do you think about that? Like, what do you I mean, what do you think the long game is there? Do you think it's because it's getting harder for them to actually make money like mining, and now we're kind of diversifying the portfolio, diversifying the business a little bit to like, all right, how else can we stay relevant and stay in this game?
Hmm.
Because it sounds like they want to stay in the game. They want to stay in the
Yeah.
Bitcoin game. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
It definitely does sound like they're trying to diversify. So for me, just looking at it, they're mining it, and then of course they're to pay what they have to pay. They have to sell some or do that. But with them actually trying to bring more Bitcoin on without the mining portion, just shows the conviction. It just shows that they're not just in it for the short term gains that the mining brings, but a long term scope. And they're probably going to, like you said, diversify and even probably branch off into something else other than just mining. So it's just when I see things like this, it just makes me as a smaller investor more convicted in my stance. These bigger companies, somebody who's mining Bitcoin wants to buy more Bitcoin. So I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
how much more bullish can you be on Bitcoin when you
That's
hear that? So that's something that's it's kind of crazy to me, but
yeah.
it makes me very bullish.
That stood out to me for sure. So I did get the chat pulled up. I won't be able to be too interactive in here, but I do want to give some shout outs. Say what's up to you guys. Alexander G's in the house. She's always in here. We love you. Best mod around. My SoCal girl. Army Piper with a whoop whoop. How you doing? Indie Rock Crypto. He said, let's mother effing go. All right. C90 for the win. My man's raising up the glass. How you doing? Toast to you. Let's go ahead and get that going. And Crux of Crypto's in here. And Alex O Crypto. Mad love to my brothers. Mad love to you, man. Outer gang. Go ahead and throw those in the chat. Username, yo, Amy Lives Cryptos with the standard orange hearts. How you doing, lady? Hope all is well. And I think I hit, oh, Army Piper. Let's see what he's got to say here. Holding net profit BTC that they can borrow against in times of need will help them later down the road as difficulty
Yeah.
increases and volatility hits price. And that makes perfect sense, to be honest with
Mhm.
you. I've noticed that's kind of a big game that a lot of people are playing these days, is that they are borrowing against their crypto assets. Like, and I won't even say it's these days because it was happening before. They were borrowing against it, and they were borrowing against it and using leverage, and that's how a lot of these companies got
Yeah.
swacked, and they kind of
Yeah.
went under because they were getting a little loosey goosey with borrowing against it with leverage, and then they were getting liquidated.
Yep.
So you always got to be very, very careful with that.
Yeah, Michael Saylor must have came and gave them a workshop or something. You know, he's
Yeah,
all about
let me.
holding Bitcoin and borrowing against it like real estate. He calls it the new digital real estate. So, you know, that's what the real estate people do. They just borrow against it and buy more. So, you know, maybe they're taking a playbook from there.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I think he's doing it right at least. So
Yeah.
I couldn't really find too much on FUD today, and to be honest, things are a little bit compressed for me. I'm trying to do the best that I can here to keep it all together. But let's
Well,
go
we do
ahead.
we do before we move on,
What's up?
TradeFly. One thing that
Sure.
we can I don't know if it's FUD, I don't know if it's something, you know, happening. We do need to watch out for these
Do I
escalating
need
tensions
do I need the siren?
across
I need the
uh,
siren. There it is. We need that. All right, what we got here? What do we
yeah, so
got?
this is not specifically or specific to crypto or anything, but we do have to keep our eyes and ears open for the tensions in the Middle East. We have
Right.
like 12 to 48-hour warnings, you know, from one place to another. So that is some type of FUD. I guess you can call it that unless it happens. So we do have to look out for that, because usually in the past, when these things do happen, we do see massive dips in the market. We do rebound
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
we do see massive
I was
dips.
just about to say that. You see
Yeah,
that
so it
big
might
dip
be
up
an
front,
opportunity.
and then
Yeah,
you do usually see a bounce, especially I won't say especially, but I do remember with Ukraine there was that initial
yep,
dip, and then right
hmm
afterwards we had a really nice bounce, like you said.
yep.
So yep, definitely something to keep an eye on. But I think
Keep it on your radar. Yep.
this is gonna be bigger than Ukraine, man. Like this is different, and without getting too far into it, it's this could get a lot weirder, a
hmm
lot bigger, and a lot quicker than Ukraine and Russia. This is
Yep.
next level. So if I happen to move to the central part of the United States, just for all of you watching, just know that you should probably move too. So
Hey, you know what? You saying it's gonna get a little wonky, man? Like a
yeah,
lot of this stuff is going on. Then we have the presidential race going on, so it's just like everybody has to show their, you know, show their strength, show their brute, show their power. Right? Excuse me, right now. So it's weird times. Protect your portfolios.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt, man. You should definitely be conservative. Don't get too crazy. But if you see me playing golf with Alex O in Canada, then you guys all know the deal, right? So keep an eye for that. All right. Cool. So let's go over to the market pulse. And first thing we got up is the total market cap, which is at 2.13 trillion. Good to see us over 2 trillion again. That is up 0.93% over the last day. Total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is 66.36 billion, which is a decrease of 20.33%. Bitcoin dominance is currently at 56.19%, increase of 0.37 over the last day. Fear and greed index is neutral at 55. Bitcoin is daddy. That is sitting at $60,771, up 2.14% over 24 hours and up 8.24% over 7 days. So that's turned around. Ethereum is up actually down 0.2%, and that is up 2.34% over 7 days, and it's currently sitting at $2,705. Let's go over to your crypto bubbles and take a look at that here over the last day. Rune is up 10.6%. IMX, don't know much about that. Immutable is up 7.3%. TIA is up 7.3%. Aptos is up 6.2%. Sats is up 5.3. Render's up 4.3. Good to see that. Render's been getting swacked pretty hard. I invested in Render when I opened up the DCA portfolio, the Piper Academy DCA portfolio that I've pretty much taken over, and I just keep DCAing in. I do need to update that and get that out to you guys so you can see what we're sitting at percentage wise. I do think it has pulled back a little bit though since I've started it. Near's up 4.3% and Injective is up 3.9%. Let's see what the big losers are. SUI, SUI 4.6%. It's down. See anything else big here? Nope. Everything else is about 2% and below. So no big losers right now. And this is the Coinbase Top 100, just so you guys know what I'm looking at here. For the economic calendar, August 13th, you got PPI month over month. August 14th, you got core inflation for month over month, year over year, inflation rate month over month, and year over year as well is going to be on the 14th, and then retail sales on the 15th. So those are kind of your biggie. And then home sweet home for you, man, on the 16th, Michigan consumer sentiment. So
Yeah.
starting
So
to
the
starting to
PPI came out a little bit better earlier today. So markets rallied on that. So tomorrow is the big CPI day, 8:30 Eastern time. I
That's
think 8
right.
or
That's right.
8:30 Eastern time. So this is a big one. I mean, they're all kind of big, but this is really a big one because we have like 100% people thinking it's going to be a rate cut, which is probably going to be a rate cut. I'm saying it's not going to be a rate cut. I just want to be a contrarian, but I gotta look, once we look at the charts, I want to look at the DXY, because once we start cutting interest rates, the DXY typically falls. So we'll look at some levels, for the DXY. And usually, if the DXY falls, we're inversely correlated into crypto. So we will see.
Yeah, right on. All right, cool. Let's get over to, let me see here. Gotta find my button. All right, liquidation heat map. Here you go. All right, so continuing on with the market pulse, let's go ahead and look at the liquidation heat map here. And so hot spot up here is going to be at about 61,600, and this is on the 3-day here. So you got a hot spot up there. Looks like people are just taking leveraged short positions off that area of resistance. Coming down, your bigger hotspot is down to about 57,550 on the 3-day, but where you see price action right now is kind of in the middle. So, you know, it's kind of tough here. It doesn't usually, what you're looking at when you're like, hey, I think the price will come up here and wick to this. You actually want to see your price action kind of trending up and right as well. That kind of gives you the, the warm and fuzzy that it might reach up and grab that liquidity, but it's trending down right now, so it'd be hard to kind of make that call. But just looking at the heat map here, you can see a horizontal area here at about 60K. It will be interesting to see when we get over to the charts where we have support and resistance at, but I can see a pretty clear area right about here at about 60,000. And we will look at the charts here in a minute. Let's see. Matter of fact, I think we're gonna go ahead and look at the charts now, unless you got anything to touch on. I'll go ahead, pass it over to you, and I'll
Mhm.
let you take the kind of first shot at the TA today.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't have any specific coin I'm looking at, because the market is really kind of boring, so to say. We did get a nice pop up from Bitcoin today, but really what I want to look at is the DXY, because once these interest rates start to get to moving down, that's going to put downward pressure on. It's going to make the dollar weaker, and they're making pumping the yen up a little bit more. So the DXY is just a basket of dirty clothes and the cleanest clothes in the dirty basket. So right now the DXY is sitting at 102,616. So it's only a few levels that I'm looking at, and it's just really just a major area that I want to see break down for us to continue this bull run. That's $100 or 99.5 or somewhere around there. So we have this upward sloping blue or tealish upward sloping trend line right here that we came down, retested here, came up, created lower highs, double top here, came down. Now we're holding this upper sloping trend line. If we lose this, we also have some confluence here with this horizontal coming in at about 101.88. So we look like we probably will hit this line. I'm guessing tomorrow, because I'm guessing the CPI is going to probably come in as expected or a little bit cooler. I don't think it's going to be hotter. We've been trending to the downside with CPI. So the next line that I'll be looking at is that 100, that psychological 100 dollar area for the DXY. And then if we lose that, this is my major area right here at about, like I said, 99. Really under, a little bit under 100. So if we lose this, we can see, if we go back, we've touched here. This is 2019, 2020, April 2020. This was during the pandemic. Once they started lowering interest rates, we had a nice crash down for the DXY, double bottom, went back up. Bear market, we see the DXY went up as Bitcoin went down. Now we're going down. We're kind of consolidating. We can even take this like this, and it's looking like what? A bear flag. So we came down. Now we're consolidating. So I'm looking for the next leg down for the DXY, especially with them starting to lower interest rates, making the dollar strength weaker. And hopefully that will, be good for risk assets, especially Bitcoin. So that's just one of the things that I'm looking at while I'm trading. But overall, in the macro economy, in the macro sense, I'm really, really keeping my eye on DXY to see if Bitcoin can get to that next level and above, which is about 72, break that and go back to all-time highs. And the DXY will have a lot to do with that.
Right on, right on. So I'm going to bring you guys over to Bitcoin on the daily. Give me 1 second though. I just want to make sure everything is lining up since I am on a different screen. Looks like it's good enough for government work here. All right, let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. All right, so looking at the daily. All right, some of the areas that we've talked about really haven't changed all that much. So the dynamic reactor, you got the 200 SMA on the daily as well. There's a lot of confluence there with moving averages all lining up with the value area low. All right, so you have a lot of resistance and it hasn't been able to close over top of that resistance. We were kind of talking about that being your kind of stopping point. I mean, I haven't looked at it all that much the past couple of days, to be honest with you, and it doesn't look like it's changed all that much. Now, what you do have, the prophecy is saying market pumps, and you do see that the RSI and the prime oscillator are starting really to work its way up and right, or continuing its way up and right. So it is showing still a little bit of strength going into that move with multiple retests. So if we see it get up there and kind of just continue to retest that area, there is an opportunity to actually break, right? I think about it as the analogy of kind of hitting a tree, with an axe. You keep hitting it over and over again. A lot of times that thing will break or fall. And that's a lot of times what you'll see with retesting these areas of support and resistance. So keep an eye on that. So kind of an area for you to really like keep your eye on is, I would say, you want to get over about 62.3. Get over 62.3, and then you're testing. It looks like you can work your way up to about 63.3, and you do have a nice horizontal area of support and resistance there that we've previously taken a look at. We did have a nice bounce off of there previously, and then look at how we had a breakdown of that area. So I would like to go over to the 4-hour real quick and see what that's looking like when we actually broke through that area. So perfect. This is exactly what I see. So when you come over to the 63.3 area, what you see, all right, you try to hold support. You got under it. See this wick here, or this candle here, it retested it. All right. So you flipped what was support into resistance, and then you ultimately had a breakdown. That lets me know that's a pretty important area. And you'll hear me say that over and over again. Find these areas where you have the retest with the breakdown, or a retest with significant price action going up and right off of that area. And, look for some confluence as well. All right. So that's one thing I would say keep an eye on. Now, what you have with that area also right now, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit out of play, is this trend line right here. This one that goes up and right. This trend line's been in play for months. All right. It's been in play for more than a few months. Actually, I think it's been in play most of the year. All right, so this trend line right here is pretty important. You can see how I was riding it up here for a minute, how important it was before it ultimately broke. Well, that's going to be the same thing you're going to look for when price action gets back up there, all right? You're probably going to see multiple retests of that before it ultimately breaks, before we can even think about getting back up to the point of control, all right? But again, I'm going to reiterate that this area right here where the value area low is definitely an area of confluence. And even if you're looking like for more of it on the 4-hour, you got the 200 SMA on the 4-hour as well, right under. So there's just so much resistance right now. I wouldn't feel comfortable right here going long. We talked about this area down here. We talked about this channel as maybe an opportunity, and we really talked about the 50K area. Now that we're getting up and we're working towards resistance, this is not where I would personally go long. All right. I'm just a little more conservative with my plays here. And I would like to see it break through this resistance and see some kind of retest before I would say, okay, let's go long. So I really think that 63.3 is an area that, okay, this is where I'm really going to get interested. And I think you're going to see something like this, where it retests this trend line before we ultimately see that break. Okay. That's if we break all of this resistance. That's what I'll be looking for in terms of price action on the way up. However, all that being said, and this is the typical content creator thing, is we're flirting with resistance right now. So I can't give you any clarity to say, hey, yeah, we're definitely going to make that move up and right. All right. So just understand, I'm not going to say, hey, now we can go down too. Of course we can go down, but just understand where you're at with price action. We're not here in the middle. We're here with resistance. So just be very, very careful. You know, this is one of those times where you can say it's definitely can go 50-50, right? It can go either way. And I would hate to say, because I like price action to come to me. So when I'm looking at this and knowing that we're trying to reestablish the support range, then you could look for the bottom part of this. But to be honest with you, that's not where I would set alerts, right? I'm looking here and I'm saying, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. And this trend line right here that's going up and right, this is that channel we've talked about before on the show. That would be like, okay, I'm going to set an alert here at about 50, 55.9 or about 56 really is probably your better target area to say if price action pulls back, now we start thinking about taking a long position, vice where we're at when we're in the middle of the range and we're at resistance. I just don't buy resistance. I'm sorry, it's not what I do. So unfortunately, that's kind of what I'm seeing on the chart right now. So we'll hope that it breaks. And that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now. And if you got time, FD, if you want to look at something else, I will
You
pass
know
it
what?
back to you.
I actually wanna expound upon what you're saying. You can actually just keep your chart up. So a lot of times what I've come to realize, like before a big announcement or before big news, we're either sitting at important support or we're sitting at important resistance. So
Hmm.
tomorrow, 8:30, when CPI comes out, if we get a good reading coming in as expected or lower, be looking out to break that said resistance that you just showed. If we get a hotter than expected CPI, be expecting us to get rejected from the area that we're at right now. But also be looking out for a lot of manipulation. But when the dust clears, we'll know which way the direction goes. Usually I'm pretty much mostly technical, but I do once the fundamentals, like big fundamental factors come in, then I do watch my levels, and then I do kind of gauge if the information comes in this way, it'll probably do this. If the information comes in this way, it'll probably do that. Use it
Yeah.
as a catalyst to break the support or break the resistance, or come back down to support, or just things like that. So I'll be looking at tomorrow for us to resolve this area right here.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I will say one of the observations that I've made is that, and me and Piper have talked about a lot of times before we get these big data announcements, we actually see a little bit of a pullback,
Hmm.
either the day prior or the day of before the announcement actually comes out, and then you get that volatility where it starts bouncing around. But if we get good data, we get good data. But
Yeah.
I totally agree, man. Like it's I'd say at a key area. That's probably the best
Yeah.
thing that I could say is we're at a key area. And like you
Key
said,
area.
the data is probably going to influence which way we go here with it. And so, you guys got to kind of buckle up, watch the
Hmm.
morning show tomorrow, because
Yeah.
I'm sure Piper's going to be giving you that alpha in the morning. And then you guys will have, first crack at it. So was not 8:30. I'm used to
Hmm.
ours. It's 9:30, 9:30 a.m.
9:30.
Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead, tune in, check out Piper Academy, and
I'm
get your
not, I'm
alpha.
not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. I might want to come on the morning show in the morning. It's gonna be a big one, man.
Bro, that
I'm
offer
gonna
is
have
always
to.
open.
I'm gonna have to hit Piper up and see
Hit him
what's
up.
going on, man. Clear
Hit
my
him up.
schedule out, man.
He
'Cause
would love to have you on.
I think tomorrow's gonna be a big day, either up or down, whatever type of information we get.
I bet he would love it. He's probably in the chat now. He's probably saying, "Come on." So,
Yeah.
right on, right on. Cool, man. Well, anything else you want to chat about here? Anything you got?
No, man, just prepare for tomorrow, prepare for the rest of the week. A lot of big catalysts are ahead. So always use a stop loss, as Piper says. And thanks again for showing up today, TradeFly, man. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let me pull the chat up one more time just to show some love for whoever's in here. See, Piper said he had a solo show, so definitely hit him up. He would definitely love to do that. Buck's in here. Who else? Jordan, TMD, zoom out. Zoom out on me or zoom out on the chart. Let me see more of that trend line. Oh, okay. He wants to see more of the trend line. Let me see. Alex O said he is in a long position. I mean, that's fine. It just depends on where you got in at. Last chart. Jordan TM. All right, you know what? I'm gonna hook you up, man. Last chart. I'll zoom out for you. Let me go back over to my screen here, and I'll zoom out. I'll go on the daily. Hey, FD, kind of give me a heads up what he's looking for, because I can't look at the chat
Okay.
and the screen at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out for him. I'm on the daily here. So one of the things you can see, Chart Prime has put a symmetrical triangle. It looks like it's already made that move. It broke out and already came down to the smart target. So that's not really a factor. I'm going to go ahead and take that off right now, so it's not plugging out. So the trend line that I was talking about right here actually goes back to October 23. All right, so you can see it here. Starts here. All right, comes up, get your little area of support. It's, you know, it's honored it all the way, and pretty much it, even here, even though it broke below it, you can see that it was a very important line. All right, because you can see where it was resistance, and now you can see where it's resistance again. So, you know, there's no reason to think that as price action continues its way up, that it may not still act as resistance. So just keep an eye on that, right? And it would make a lot of sense when you get over the 63.3 area that you're going to see some resistance there first before you ultimately see that breakout. So, you know, it has a lot to do with the strength. It has a lot to do with the move. It has a lot to do with the fundamentals, the news. And that's what we kind of give you guys on the channel here to help you
So he's
guys.
saying,
What's
I'm
up?
sorry.
No,
He
go
was
ahead.
saying, does that, I think he's saying, does that trend line go back to 2020?
2020? No,
Yeah.
that does not go back to 2020. My channel that I have, the other right here, this one that goes up and right, that channel goes back to about 20. Yeah, say 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
About September 2020. So if you're looking at
September
the
2020,
channel,
yeah.
that
Mhm.
the one trend line that I was talking about specifically, that one only goes back to about October 23. But this
Yep.
channel right here has been absolute fire. So if you look at that, you can see high comes down, hits the median, goes back up to the high, hits the median, and uses it
Mhm.
as support, breaks down. This channel has been banana land. Like if you guys want to put something in your chart, put this channel on there. I promise
Yeah.
you, it's
That's a
it's
good
pretty
macro channel to have. Yeah.
it's pretty money because the trend is up and right with price action. That's what you got to think about. So right now, Bitcoin moving up and right, we're pretty solid on that part of it. Then like it's acting as support right now. So you didn't actually, I don't even think you had a close. I know it wasn't on the weekly. You didn't have a close underneath of it. So maybe on the daily, yeah, on the daily you did, but on the weekly you did. So, you know, keep that in mind. Until we break that with like some kind of confirmation, really, until we get under this about 50,600 and like close under that, I'm not even really concerned with a pullback, to be honest
Right.
with
Yeah.
you.
So he
So
said, yeah, we're still bullish. So he's good.
yeah. Yeah,
That's all he wanted to see.
for
Yeah.
now we're still bullish for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't have no fear. So one of the things, let's go over to the dual cam. I'm glad he's asking that. We've been talking about it for a really, really long time on the channel that we had to come down to 50K. And the reason that I was saying we had to come down to 50K is because there was so much liquidity there. The maker's not going to leave all that behind. There's no way. All right. You had just mountains of liquidity sitting. So you come down, you clear that out, and you keep bullish structure. And the institutions have an opportunity to buy back in at a cheaper rate. It just made too much sense. And that's why I went heavy in at that range. So, you know, just we're still bullish right now. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say. We keep that up and right trajectory. So far, so good. If we break that, like I said, keep that channel on your chart. If we break that, then you start thinking, all right, maybe this can get a little bit weird, and you just be more careful. You know, so set some stop losses because you could have a bigger pullback. Be careful though, because you get those crazy wicks, especially, you know, cascading type moves when people start getting liquidated progressively down, and then they start getting scared. So just be very careful, but keep an eye on that area. 50K is a pretty important area, I'll say. Matter of fact, the 2022 high, I don't have that up right now, but the 2022 high is exactly almost, I won't say exactly almost, but that's about where we found support, right? That's where we got that big wick, was off the 2022 high. I think that was at about 46 or 48,000. So mark those on your chart. Mark your 2022 high, mark your 2023 high, and your 2021, all basically your years going back. Mark those,
Mhm.
make horizontal lines on your chart, and you'll be amazed that you'll see sometimes that those bounce. You'll get price action off of those areas, and it's really good for scalping and intraday type stuff, and sometimes macro. Like our recent pullback came right to the 2022 high, and that was an entry point. So just throwing that out there for you.
Yep.
All
And he
right.
says he's all good. Yep.
All Gucci.
All Gucci.
All right. Right on. All right. I gotta, you know me, and I always got my relatives around. I have my daughter on. I got Granny Bitcoin over here right now. I'm gonna I'm gonna introduce here. Come here, Grandma. Say hi to everyone. Yeah, yeah, you're live on YouTube. Come on over and say hi. This is happening. All you gotta do is wave. It's okay. You gotta come with a camera. Is there she is.
Hi.
Hey.
There it is. Granny Bitcoin. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. All right. With that, we're going to get out of here. FD, my man, thanks for being on with me. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you did, give us a like and subscribe so we can keep bringing on Granny Bitcoin. Maybe we can fly her out to California at some point. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here with that. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.
Later.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.